Good morning, everyone. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had a town hall due to the Thanksgiving holiday and Autodesk University. So welcome to the e-NABLE Town Hall meeting for December 11th, 2015. Town Hall is a weekly Google Hangout on air where team leads and community members are able to update the community on what's been happening. I'm Justine Diamond, your host for this week's meeting. Please remember that you can ask questions to any of our speakers through the Q&A feature. You'll find the Q&A feature at the upper right-hand corner of your screen. If you just click on the little grid of 9 boxes, it will come up. If you're watching on certain devices, such as an iPad or an iPhone, you may find you can't access the Q&A, but you can post questions to the event page in the comments section. We try to monitor both as we go on and answer questions as best we can. If we don't get to your question, keep an eye on that post because we try and catch up and post the answers there. Town Hall is all about community, and today we have quite a number of community members who will be speaking about a number of things. I think it's great when people are able to share what they're doing with the larger community. And if there's something you would like to share or you know someone who's doing something really great, if you let me know, I'll arrange to get them onto Town Hall. You can email me at events.enable@gmail.com. So this week, we're going to have a lot of interesting news about Autodesk University, both from someone at Autodesk and from our fantastic volunteers who were there. But the first thing we've got, I think, is great. This morning, when I was reading through the community, the G+ community, which now is at 7,015 members, I came across a post by Chris Duckett, who's a teacher in South Carolina, who did something with his students to give them appreciation for what it is we do. And I'm not going to say a word about it. I'm going to pass it over to Chris and his kids, and they'll tell us all about it. But don't forget, you guys got to unmute. There you go.
Yeah, so last school year, one of my students, when we were talking about the idea of making prosthetic hands with a 3D printer, she said, hey, why don't we experience what it's like to not have fingers for a day and duct tape our hand or put a sock on it or something. And so finally last month we did that and put a video together, and it was quite an experience. So you guys want to share about what it was like?
Sure. Yeah, so what was it like? How long did you do this for?
Go ahead. All school.
We did it all school day, so from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
And did you tape your dominant hand or your non-dominant hand?
Well, what we did is we had a coin and we flipped it, and then one side was right hand, one side was left hand, and whatever side it landed on, that was what hand you had to tape.
Okay, so raise your hand. Who ended up taping their dominant hand? 3 of you. And the other 2 your non-dominant hand. So can you tell us a little bit what it was like to try and do things you normally do with your dominant hand without being able to do that?
Well, it was hard to write. My handwriting wasn't the best. Typing was hard. I couldn't type very well. I could still type, but it was still harder. And I couldn't zip my coat.
Okay.
You had a hard time tying your shoe.
Yeah, I couldn't tie my shoe.
Yeah, that was really hard.
He got a lower grader. He's an 8th grader, and he got a lower grader.
I had to get a lower grader to tie my shoe.
Shoelaces.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's me.
That was fun. Is there anything else?
Is that video visible somewhere?
Yeah, we just posted it to Google Plus this morning, so you can see it in the education section, I think.
Ooh,
Yep.
I'll look for it.
Do any of the people who are on the call, do any of you have any questions for Chris or for his kids? I thought you might, Peter. But you're muted.
Sorry. Oh boy, that sounds like a great experience. I don't really have questions, but that's really great. Thanks for doing that. That's so cool.
If you watch the video, Peter, we were actually printing parts of an osprey in the video while we were experiencing that day.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Thanks.
So how did you guys become aware of this project?
one day I was in the library with my own kids, and I think it was a Boys Life magazine for Boy Scouts, and there was a picture of a kid, and it said, "Boy 3D prints own hand." And I was like, what? I didn't really know much about 3D printers last year, and so then when I was Googling stuff, I stumbled upon e-NABLE last spring, and then I showed that to my students. We had an assignment where they actually had to watch a video on the e-NABLE website, and that's what sort of inspired us to fundraise for a 3D printer. And then right now, we're building 6 hand designs. So each group of my students is doing, there's a Osprey, Phoenix, Raptor, Raptor Reloaded, Cyborg, Beast, K1. So each group is doing one of those, so we can compare and contrast how each of them work.
Well, this is really important and fantastic. So frankly, I don't know any group that has systematically tried to do 6 of these designs. Are you all taking notes and videos about the challenges you have?
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, you're gonna have to be sure to keep sharing those to the community. I'm pretty sure that we would like to share those videos with a bit of a wider market. So that's very exciting. We're very interested, especially in how you find the comparison between the hands.
Yeah.
And the functionality. I definitely know that there are a lot of people in the community who would be very interested in that.
Kids, I like to talk to my students about the difference between an achievement and a contribution. Oh, be quiet. Sorry, my phone is ringing. About the difference between an achievement and a contribution. You guys are doing just amazing work, but I want you to understand that your comparisons and your notes and your pictures will be really, really helpful to other people if you share them and if you can organize them. It's a unique experiment, so I want you to understand you can make a real contribution to other people as well as raising your own skills and knowledge by what you're doing. But you got to share and you got to report. There are a lot of people, including everyone on this call, who will be really interested in your perceptions of these designs and of the difficulty of printing them and the difficulty of assembling them. Okay?
Cool.
Yeah, and
Excellent.
I'd like to add that, yes, definitely document challenges you have with assembly, with printing, and how you how you solve those problems. As a matter of fact, our education coordinator, Rich Lehrer, he just put a post up in the community about how 2 of his 8th grade students solved a problem with trying to thread cords through very tight holes. And what they did was they took a guitar string and they put it in a Bunsen burner until it was orange, and then they use that to melt and make the holes a little bigger and make sort of a file almost. I've seen that's a different way to solve that problem. I've seen other solutions as well. So if you guys come across a problem with your assembly and come up with a solution, we absolutely want you to post about that. So, sound good? All right.
And I just now watched the first minute of that video, and as soon as we get off, I'm going to watch the rest of it. That's so awesome what you're doing.
Peter, paste a link to that video if you can.
It's on the Google Plus page. It's like
All right, I got it.
I'll get you a link.
9:17 this morning. Yeah, you'll see it there.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Chris, and your students. You don't need to stay around for the rest of the call if you don't want to, but you are more than welcome to stay with us. We're going to talk about what we did at Autodesk University next.
Okay, thanks. We're gonna go do some math and spelling and stuff. So.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing you.
Hey, thank you. Well done.
Okay. Oh, that was really great. Oh, Ben, you've got a lot. That's a pretty big act to follow up on. So, so Autodesk University. We've got with us today Ben Thompson, who's a senior manager of sustainable business at Autodesk and the Autodesk Foundation. In this role, Ben seeks to align Autodesk's people, process, and products to the company's vision to create a better world. A founder of Autodesk's Employee Impact Program, Ben supports employees to amplify their impact at work, at home, and in their communities. Managing Autodesk's cross-organizational sustainable operations team and strategy, He has a track record of expanding sustainability best practices and driving Autodesk's commitment on science-based greenhouse gas reductions. Autodesk's 100% renewable energy goal, integrated reporting, and advocacy and partnership on climate change are all part of what he does. The products are a key focus, where Ben uses the company's old building as a living laboratory to enhance and simplify sustainable design software. Ben, I'm not even going to talk about what we did it. I'm going to let you take over for explaining about Autodesk and what we did with you there.
Amazing. Well, thank you for the introduction, and I agree that's going to be a hard act to follow. So if you don't know about Autodesk, we are a design software company. We help designers, architects, engineers, manufacturers, creatives bring their ideas to life through software. So if you've heard of AutoCAD, or if you've driven in a car, driven on a road, you're wearing shoes, this computer you're watching this video on, all of that was designed in Autodesk software. And so about a year and a half ago, we launched the Autodesk Foundation, which is the first foundation dedicated to supporting impact designers, people who use the power of design to create a better world. And we're really proud to be partnering with e-NABLE and supporting this community, not only with a grant, but also with technology that can help improve and streamline the design and fabrication process of these prosthetic hands. So every year we put on this really big conference in Las Vegas. We get 10,000 of our customers together, ranging from manufacturers to auto folks to movie makers to architects, and they all come together to learn about how they can improve their work and use the technology to do bigger and better things. And one thing that we started doing a couple of years ago was having some form of community engagement in this event. And I'd say that this year was an unparalleled success because of our partnership with the e-NABLE community. We brought a bunch of folks into our exhibit hall and set up workstations for our attendees to come by and assemble some of these prosthetic hands. And last year we had about 200 people kind of come by, and I think we put together some solar lanterns. This year we had over 700 designers come through our e-NABLE booth and learn about the designs, learn about the community, and learn about this amazing solution. And many of those folks sat down with us and actually assembled many of these hands. And thanks to many of the volunteers from the community, we had a thriving table of experts sitting down with our professional customers, putting these hands together. And I believe the count at the end of the weekend was 150 hands were assembled by these folks. And we had some people who said, they paid a lot of money to go to this conference and go to classes and learn about the software, but they said, it's more important for me to be here doing this important work and learning about this community than it is going to learn how to use AutoCAD a little bit more. So just seeing the outpouring of support from our community for yours was really inspiring, and I think really kind of more importantly switched on this kind of notion of, wow, I'm a designer and I could be having a positive impact on the world. I could be affecting the lives of children who need these prosthetic hands. Just lights going on all over the place. I don't think we had a single person walk by the booth and not stop and kind of try to take in all the stuff that was happening. So that was really, I think, important and inspiring for me, because I've been to this conference for many years, and this is the first time that I think people actually kind of thought about the implications of what they do. So that was really great. Another really great opportunity that we had at Autodesk University was to tap into that expertise of all these designers. I think it's one thing to get such a large group of people sitting down and assembling these hands, but you know, these are really capable folks. They could be using their skills to actually improve on the design of these prosthetics. And so we had a small hackathon. We were able to attract 2 to 3 dozen people to come down, open the design files for these in Inventor and in Fusion 360, and make some tweaks. We saw some really cool accessories. One of our designers was really excited about an Xbox video game controller attachment for the hand. It's the little things, I guess, that can kind of go a long way. But I think more importantly, while we had about 30 folks there tweaking the designs, more designers said, I want to learn about this. I want to do this back home. I've got a schedule that I've got to keep here in Las Vegas, but I've got a firm of 30 industrial designers back at home. I'll take the card and we'll bring this community back home. So I think we spread the word about e-NABLE really well with a set of people that have really deep skills that can join and support this community. So I think that was a really special thing to have people sitting there hunched over computers, working on the design, and then equally capable designers threading the strings through the 3D printed parts, and it was just a really special moment. There was an electricity in the booth that frankly I haven't seen at that conference in a really long time. I think like the stats are amazing, and people are talking about it nonstop back here in the office in San Francisco. But one of the more interesting pieces, I think, is that our senior vice president of product, Mara Hansball, who gave our closing keynote, was also incredibly moved by the work that was happening with our customers and with e-NABLE, and used it to actually transform his entire closing keynote to be focused around how design can be used to create a better world. And so we had, over 700 people come by the booth. I think that was outstanding. But in the closing keynote, to 10,000 people in the room, he was talking about, the value that e-NABLE brings to these kids who really need it most. Talking about how if everybody of all those 10,000 designers in the room just kind of thought about their job a little differently, following e-NABLE's example, they could also have a similar impact. So I think that's really great for this community because, hey, 10,000 people in one room and, countless other thousands that are going to hear that closing keynote online in the future. Really amazing way to get the message out about this cause specifically, but I think also as that transformative thought for designers globally on how they can fundamentally change, their profession. It was most inspiring AU yet, and it was because of e-NABLE, and I just want to thank and recognize you guys, and I couldn't be more proud that, we have so many folks at Autodesk who are working in the community, and we've already got folks here and from other companies who are saying, hey, how can we get more involved with e-NABLE? How can we bring them to our event? How can we get those files so that we can start improving them ourselves? So good work, everyone who's involved. Thank you so much, and we're excited to keep the partnership going.
Oh, wow, thank you very much. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Does anybody have any questions for Ben, who's here? We don't have any questions in the queue.
Well,
John?
I'll just say that I finally got around to publishing a blog post about the event in the community and also at enablecommunityfoundation.org/AU2015. It includes some pictures and a link to Amar's talk. And so that's all to be seen. There's also the whole AU website, which is full of really interesting information. Ben didn't say explicitly that the Autodesk Foundation has also supported the e-NABLE Community Foundation. And one of the interesting things about what Ben was saying is that there is a larger movement that the foundation is exploring. It's not just about 3D printed prosthetics, but it's the notion that that all of us, but in particular designers, and in particular people who have access to these amazing, often free tools of the internet, can organize themselves, possibly with our support, to do a variety of things that can make a huge difference. And to be able to have the VP at Autodesk and that community get behind it and sort of ratify the vision is likely to be huge.
Wow. So we've
Yeah.
also got, we had volunteers with us, and one of our superstar standout volunteers was Aaron Brown, who's joined us today. As a matter of fact, he helped that senior VP put together that hand, and not only that, the Captain America hand that Aaron made was featured prominently during the speech. So, Aaron, you're definitely our rock star volunteer, and I'd love it
Yes.
if you could talk about your experiences with AU. Just unmute. There you go.
Can you guys hear me okay? This is it's my first time using this setup.
We can.
Okay. It's all of us. This wouldn't have been as successful as it was without every single person there. That's what makes e-NABLE great, is we all bring our own toolbox. We all bring our own set of skills, and we all pick up where other people might need help. So, I think everybody there is a rock star. Now, as far as you guys at Autodesk, I mean, I'm 280 pounds, but I'm a hugger. Like, I would hug every single one of you guys. My hat goes off to you guys. It was a fantastic event. So much fun. Every single person was so positive. Everybody that represented Autodesk was just nothing but positive energy. And I actually learned a lot about Autodesk and its core values. Going in, maybe I was slightly naive, but I just pretty much knew Autodesk as modeling software. Automotive, I figured it's, one of the best modeling CAD softwares out there, for companies like GE and Boeing, and, software that I couldn't afford, but someday would hope to know about. I had no idea the heart of the company and the outreach and, how much Autodesk really wants to see the world thrive and give back. So my respect level went up 100 times, especially after seeing the closing session and actually meeting everybody and finding out what Autodesk is about. So I thank you guys. I've always respected, I go to elementary schools practically on a weekly basis, and I'm teaching kids Tinkercad all the time. And even though it's, it's Autodesk's free software, I love what you guys do, and I'm going to continue to wear an Autodesk hat and send the praise. Other than that, as far as the event goes, it was a lot of fun. My feet don't hurt anymore. That was a lot of running around, but I think it went off without a hitch, and I was just very glad to be a part of it.
Well, I would just say thank you so much, Aaron, because we had so many people come through that booth. I don't know what we would have done if it wasn't for folks like you who, I think calmly, helped a lot of really energetic and possibly even stressed out, industrial designers kind of sit down, internalize this message, do something good, spend a little bit of time, and I mean, you said it yourself. I think that the actions there really resonated throughout the entire conference, and I think anybody who didn't necessarily walk past the booth heard about it because folks like you made it such a positive event, and really kind of took the time to share the story of these kids and share the story of the community with our customers. And I think that's why people do design at the end of the day. It's to affect people, right? And that that came through loud and clear in this booth, and will continue to through this community and through, I think the joining of the larger Autodesk community in this one. So kudos. Maybe we can do it again soon. after all of our feet recover.
Yeah, I think Melina figured out that without even going outside, we were walking something like 7 and 8 miles a day without even getting outside of the hotel complex, because it was a lot. It was great. But Aaron, yeah, you were great working with people and really patient, and all of our volunteers. Peter was there. Skip Metz was there. Caitlin McDonald from the Haiti team was there. We just really had a good show of support from people. In the community, Justin Lavaguer, who did the adapter for the hands, he was there, and we based one of the hackathon challenges around his work. So a lot of the designs that came in were based on the work that he did, so he was very excited. And we'll have results from the hackathon very, very soon. So that will be another announcement and very exciting. And right now, Peter was at Autodesk as well, so I'm going to pass this over to Peter, and he can talk about that or about whatever it is, because he also was in Dubai to do a TED Talk, so maybe he will talk about that as well. So Peter, it's you. You need to unmute, though. There you go.
All right, yep. Well, Autodesk was a really, really huge event. I'm not sure there's much I can add to it. It was, I mean, the booth was amazing. And just the whole experience of Autodesk University was really kind of mind-blowing in a lot of ways. Just having all those people there, and I mean, it was amazing to to walk around the floor of the whole show and the classes. So it was, our booth was, yeah, as everybody is saying, incredibly successful. We even had stormtroopers come by and make some hands, which was fun. And it was a great time to meet the people who usually I only see in these kinds of these sorts of meetings like we're having now. It was great to see some of my favorite people in the world in person, so we could not just talk and plan, but also just hang out and be together. It's really, really sweet. So yeah, I actually flew into Autodesk on the tail end of a around the world trip. I went to Dubai to give a TEDx talk, and I think it went really well. Unfortunately, Peregrine couldn't go because of passport issues. He had an expired passport, and it didn't come through on time. So we were both invited, but I ended up having to give the talk myself. But I think it went really well, and they're talking about bringing not just me back, but me and Peregrine to hopefully bring 3D printing actually into the curriculum in the schools in the United Arab Emirates. So that's exciting. The talk should be up. She said 4 to 6 weeks, which is probably going to be about 2 weeks now. Well, 2 to 4 weeks now, and that's about it. What I'm working on right now is a bicycle riding device, but that's kind of a different channel where there's something that hooks onto your bicycle, and then here's a socket. Now this is a one-off. This is made for a particular client, but it's not too difficult to modify something like this. And then just this ring goes. It's a little bit. The ring's a little bit too small, but it just pops over here, and then you just ride along.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Oh, that is cool. I would like to see more about that as you get it going.
Yeah. Well, it'll be. I have a couple more iterations printing right now, and then I'm going to put it up on Thingiverse so other people can share and play with it.
Oh, sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. We don't have anything in the queue other than George Soul saying congratulations and good afternoon. And I'm going to go over to Marla, who was also at Autodesk, so she can talk a little bit about that, but I think she has some other announcements as well. Marla, you ready?
Yes, I'm here. You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So actually, I wasn't thinking about talking about Autodesk. It was it's always fun to be in a booth talking to the public because, you know, for every person that comes by, either they're like, "Oh yeah, I already know about you, you're cool," or they get all wide-eyed and, you know, you give them the really basic information and they get excited and pulled in. So that happened over and over again for 3 days. It was slightly exhausting. So the thing that I came today, though, to talk about briefly is totally unrelated to events and has to do with a recipient waiver and release from our pro bono legal team, which I posted in the community today because our new website isn't up yet, and I didn't want to wait any longer since they finally completed it at the end of November. This is a legal document that I am not a lawyer, so in my not a lawyer words, it basically says, don't sue me and I won't sue you and everything will be fine if we do this hand thing, and I'm not a doctor and blah, blah, blah. Of course, you know, there are some people who actually are doctors who are in the community, and so they have perhaps their own processes that they follow, but libraries and schools and individuals have often asked the foundation, do you have, you know, are we covered? Do we have insurance? Do we have, you know, what are the legal implications? And I can't speak to the, well, I can speak to the answer, the question of coverage and insurance. The answer is no, you're not. But the waiver that we've just published is something that it's written to be as understandable as possible, considering that it is, you know, 2 pages of lawyer language. But it makes sense to me. I think people can read it and decide if they want to use it or not. There's certainly no requirement that anybody uses it. But now, if people ask for such a thing, at least we have this thing that they can take and sign if they want to. Now, a couple people in the community already pointed out this is just for the United States, and that's true, it is. However, we do have a pro bono team that does have worldwide offices and connections, and so if we give them a prioritized list of other geographies, we may be able to likewise publish more geographically specific things, or there may be other people who want to come forward and offer up things like this or variations on this, and that's all wonderful and fine as well, either for the US or for some of those other geographies. So anyway, it's out there. Once we do have our new website published, I hope really soon now, it'll certainly be easy to find there as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I actually responded to one of those comments saying that, yeah, it was for the US and looking for volunteers with different countries. So it's great that we might have that, or that someone might come up with it, because it would be good to have one for countries where we've got a big presence. So that's good that that got taken care of so quickly. Okay, John, do you have anything you'd like to add or say or talk about?
Well,
We need you and not the notes.
yeah, okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
There you go.
Careful what you wish for.
There you go.
So I am not going to say how wonderful Autodesk University was, just because we've said it many times, but it was. I will say a little bit about the stamina and the dedication of all of the volunteers, but in particular, Justine and Melina and Grace, who not only were marathon people there, but worked, and if I may say, Ben, were worked very, very hard by all of the people at Autodesk in the planning for this. The logistics of this event were really quite extraordinary, both by what, with regard to what Autodesk did and what those named individuals did. And we got through it, and I just want to just call out their contribution and their stamina. You know, the only other thing I would say is that there is ongoing discussion about the role of the foundation and the role of the community and the nature of the movement and so on. And you know, I can say that it is the foundation's ability to make these arrangements with Autodesk is an example of what a foundation can do. Our ability to generate legal documents that the community thinks it needs are an example of what the foundation can do. Our ability to recruit but not to guide volunteers is sort of what the foundation does, and then the community does this magic that that we celebrate and try to help promote. And I just want to say, as the year comes to a close, that we are now shifting from a period in which we get the foundations act together as a legal entity to where we're now going to start trying to develop and make visible some of the programs that are really underway, including developing and strengthening a relationship with Autodesk and others. That's my report.
Okay, we still don't have any questions. Melina is just here listening. I don't think that she had anything today. Is that correct, Melina? I think that's correct. You can chime in if it's not. We still have some time. We don't have any questions. Is there, does anybody have anything else they want to add? Or if not, we'll wrap up.
Yeah, I would just reiterate my thanks to everyone on this call and all the volunteers that came to Autodesk University and to their community as a whole. You guys are doing some really amazing stuff, and you know, I think we really got the message out this past couple of weeks, and I'm excited to do so even more. So thank you all for everything. You're doing amazing things.
So Ben, to belabor the obvious, we should talk soon about how to build on it.
I agree. Wholeheartedly. We'll be in touch.
Excellent.
Yeah, I have to say that what Autodesk did for us, it was wonderful. I mean, the support, the booth was beautiful. It was really an amazing experience. It's always special, you know, to be able to show people what we're doing, but the appreciation we had from people who had the set of design skills that were at Autodesk. I haven't worked with people who have that level of expertise before, and so that was really, really amazing for me. Oh, we do have a question. Someone says, I'm in Brazil, and someone from HBO Brazil reached out to me looking for anyone who would be getting a hand soon. I will probably pass that over to Melina, Michael, and I'll have her get in touch with you. And that would probably be the best way to handle that. We'll see what we can find out. Because, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have very little voice left. Thierry in France says, this is great. Thank you, guys. Thierry, as a matter of fact, I met up with a woman from Autodesk France who's interested in connecting with you. So be looking for an email where I can hook the two of you up together, because she's interested in working with you to set something up with Autodesk in France. And Michael continues that they want to do a documentary with somebody getting a hand, and it could be great publicity. Melina, do you want to address that or talk to Michael?
Michael, the best thing we can do is get you in touch with Felipe Wilchin, and he can help you connect with a family there. So okay, if you can, I will email you or send you a message on Hangouts, and we can talk about it.
Okay. What I'm going to do, if everyone doesn't mind, is just wait a couple of minutes to see if there's anything else, and then we will we'll wrap up. But again, to everyone here who was at Autodesk, thank you very much. To the people who you see here and the people who are not here, like Skip and Caitlin, and Grace, really worked very hard, and we've made some great connections. I cannot wait to see what's coming of that.
You know, because we do
Isabel. And Isabel. Goodness,
Isabel.
Yes.
That's right. Because we do these assembly events fairly often, I'm going to mention a few things that I learned just watching this go on. Autodesk set up these long, narrow tables that people could sit on either side of. And because they were narrow, they could be working from opposite sides of the table on the same hand on a tray. That turns out to be a really potent arrangement, I thought. As we all know, sometimes you need a third or a fourth hand, and in this situation, you're not getting in each other's way, and also you're talking to each other and making eye contact. So if you're arranging an assembly event, I think that's a really nice arrangement. There are some pictures in that post that I did that will illustrate that. I also think that we should really help on the stringing and knot tying. That some videos and some pointers and maybe even some string pullers would really save people a lot of time. It doesn't have to be an exercise in manual dexterity, and so that's another thing that I think we can work on for future assembly events. But the other thing I'll say is that, you know, people find it a hugely gratifying experience. I had sort of forgotten, but the very act of putting this together, seeing a hand come together, seems to be a very palpable and meaningful activity for a lot of people. So the hand assembly event itself is, I think, going to become an increasing part of what we do, both to spread the message and to get the job of assembling hands done.
As well, one thing that Jonathan, mute you. As well, what I found was we put people at tables as they came to tables. So sometimes people came with a friend they wanted to work with, but a lot of times people were working together who never met each other before, and they made a connection. And at least 2 of the Autodesk attendees became real evangelists. They put together their own hand, they helped other people put together hands, and then they came back every day and fixed hands that either needed adjustment or just to keep working. So there were at least 2. One was Rodney, and the other one worked for a plumbing company, and his name just escaped me. I think it was Patrick. The 2 of them were amazing volunteers who didn't know anything about us when they first came and sat down to put together a hand, and all of a sudden were amazing volunteers helping other people. So this really was just an amazing opportunity, an amazing event. Okay, so I think we've basically cleared the queue, and we will be back next week. And until then, happy printing, everybody.